media mix models have been around for a very, very long time. Actually, I have a media mix modeling veteran in class. His name is Todd Kirk. Todd, if you don't mind chiming in here, the anecdote I've heard is that marketing mix models are originally used by the Coke CMO to understand retail sales to advertising. Is that true?
It always was. And I think really when it comes down to it, for most of us, it's always been the access to data,
Yeah.
right? And so why I think you'll see such a heavy presence from a historical standpoint, clearly they're only part of the play now, but would be those consumer packaged goods like Coca-Cola that you would find at Walmart or you would find at Kroger, et cetera, because the data has been available. And believe it or not, really why marketing mix modeling kind of spiked there in the late 80s and early 90s was when all of the scanner data could now be put in a context that could be very easily used. And we had a couple of questions about looking at differences across geographies. Suddenly, instead of seeing a total US number for a quarter or a month, you could see weekly data
Right.
at the different geography levels that then was very quickly easy to align with most of the numbers coming from Nielsen at that time, right? Which was also very weekly or daily, but clearly the idea of the Nielsen week and then the Nielsen DMAs, right? So everything could be connected. And that's really where it started. And now go back to your question, 100%. Coke was kind of on the forefront with help from Nielsen, right? To be able to bring these models to bear very early. Pepsi jumped on right behind them, et cetera, et cetera.
What's the name of the Coke CMO at that time? Do you remember?
So at the time that when I was there, it was a guy named Sergio Zeman, and Sergio was very, very much into leveraging data.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you always had to do before you presented to him, and I only got to a couple of times, but anybody that did, you first had to kind of lay out what does the overall scheme look like? What does the data look like? And I do remember, and sorry that I'm kind of jumping ahead on us on modeling, that a couple of the guys that I worked with wanted so much to go in and show these really cool models. Well, you can't really do that to the CMO, but what you could do in that situation is give that story. Let's see what the data looks like first. And one of the things I always remember from that time, which I still have with me today, is did you plot it, right? What does it look like over time? That you can share with senior management, and then you can get into our more fancy types of models of what it's saying, but you've really justified beforehand what was going on there.
That's right. EDA, exploitative data analysis. What a sage point there. Thank you so much, Todd. So Todd's been, I think, in the industry, what, 30 years plus?
I go back to those build models in the late 80s. You're right.
That's great. That's great.